Hey, I ain't lying. The Pacers got to be the most slept on team in the playoffs. Like the Pacers, they coming off an Eastern Conference playoff run, and we still disrespecting Pacers. They ain't like that. And I know, we get on Tyrese Halliburton, Mr. Halliburton, whatever his name is, for him not being aggressive and him being underrated and things like that. But all I know is that his team keep winning. His team keep winning playoff games, and that's the only thing that really matters. And tonight, in Game 1 against the Cleveland Cavaliers, they stole Game 1 on the Cleveland Cavaliers home floor, behind the likes of Halliburton having a good game. This is his fifth double-double in his six playoff games in his postseason. Halliburton be getting it done, even though it might not be, a 30, 40, point games that, people be wanting to see from Tyrese Halliburton, for him to be, one of the top elite point guards and one of the best players, in the NBA today. Even though it ain't that, he's still getting a job done. He doing what his team is needed. He doing, on a night in, night out basis what the team need him to do to succeed and win, and he did just that. Today the Cleveland Cavaliers, they got good contributions from Donovan Mitchell. Evan Mobley had a double-double. Ty Jerome off the bench gave him 20-plus points. This was a good game. It came down to the wire. But ultimately, the Pacers' depth was just too much for the Cleveland Cavaliers. Once you get that's the thing about the Indiana Pacers. They got legit like 6 guys that can be in double figures on a night in, night out basis, regardless who it is. They legit got 6 guys that they can rely on that gonna get them at least 15 plus, and that's what makes the Pacers so dangerous, because they play style, they like to get out in transition, they kick ahead, they're an unselfish ball club, and now that they had an Eastern Conference playoff run, under their belt, they understand and know what it takes to win on the road. They know what it takes to win and close out games. They know how to play with each other. They're an experienced team, kind of, sort of, so well now. Tyrese Halliburton is the engine to make this team go. In games that Tyrese Halliburton has scored 20 or plus points this season, the Indiana Pacers are 20-3. He scored 20 plus points tonight, and they end up winning this game down the stretch, making big time shots when the team needed him most, making big time plays. You get Andrew Nembhard with 23 points. You get Miles Turner with a double-double. Pascal with 17. Aaron Nesmith with 17. Benedict Mathurin with 11 off the bench. You get 6 guys from this performance today with at least 11 or more points in this game. And that was the difference. Because when you look at it from the Cleveland Cavaliers standpoint, all you really got was 20 from Mobley, 12 from Jared Allen, 21 from Jerome, 11 from DeAndre Hunter, 33 from Donovan Mitchell, which it sounds good because they got 4 guys. They had 5 guys that was in double figures. But when you look at 6 guys that got 11 plus, 5 guys with 15 or more points from the Indiana Pacers, that was the difference in this ball game. You get Indiana Pacers had 43 rebounds. They both had the same amount of rebounds tonight. One team, the Cleveland Cavaliers, got to the free throw line, shot 18 free throw attempts. They were 13-18 from the free throw line. The Indiana Pacers was 14-15. They only missed 1 free throw, so they won that battle. Even though they didn't get to the free throw line as much, they got to the free throw. They shot 3 less free throws, but made more free throws when you look at it, because the Cleveland Cavaliers missed 5 free throws tonight. We're making only 13. They were 13-18 from the field, from the free throw line. The Cleveland Cavaliers, they took care of the ball a little bit. They only had 7 turnovers, which the Indiana Pacers had 16 turnovers. But when you look at it, like I said, once you get contributions from Nesmith, Pascal Siakam, Miles Turner, Nembhard, Tyrese Halliburton, Benedict Mathurin, then once you shoot as efficiently from the 3-point line as the Indiana Pacers did, which they shot 53% from the 3-point line, which compared to the Cleveland Cavaliers, which in these playoffs, they've been the best 3-point shooting team in the playoffs, and they only shot 23% from the 3-point line. And that was the difference in the ball game. Even though that the Cleveland Cavaliers dominated the Indiana Pacers in points in the paint, and they had tied rebounds, had more free throw attempts. They took care of the ball. They had less turnovers than the Indiana Pacers. But obviously, the 3-point line was too much to be able to offset that. They needed something else. They needed a couple more threes to fall down to be able to keep themselves, in arm's length and arm distance to be able to win this game. You let an Indiana Pacers team that is deep like this get off from the 3-point line, it don't matter what you do. Once you let a team in the playoffs shoot 53% from the 3-point line and they get them that many attempts, you're gonna lose that ball game. That is a perfect description, or like a perfect definition of the new age NBA. The three is more than two. 3 is better than 2. So, and that came to like in full totality tonight, cause the Indiana Pacers, they didn't, they got abused in the paint. They didn't have a lot of paint points today. The Cleveland Cavaliers was beating them up in the inside. It was killing them. I think at one point in time, the Cleveland Cavaliers had like the points in the paint was like 20-6. But it didn't matter because they made, at that point in time, they had made like 6 more 3-point attempts that the 3 points made than the Cleveland Cavaliers. And really that was like like I said, that was the determining factor. The 3-point line was ultimately, I know throughout these first round of these series, now that we in the second round, because I'm talking about game 1 of the second round in this series, the first round was all about free throws. You can win and lose from the free throw line. Now, the second round, we're going to see how this turned out. Everything still, to me, is still the same. You still got to be able to control the gas. Still got to be able to control your turnovers. You still got to be able to make free throws when the opportunity presents itself. Because if you do those 3 things, you're still going to be in a good position. But tonight, like I said, more times than likely when you're on the road and things like that, to be able to offset, if you don't be able to do those 3 things, to be able to offset that, you have to be effective and efficient from the 3-point line. And that's exactly what the Indiana Pacers was tonight. Now, I don't know if they can be able to replicate that. Because the Cleveland Cavaliers, they played fairly well tonight. They played well enough to win this game. But ultimately, that 3-point line was ultimately set the difference in winning and losing for the Indiana Pacers. Because, if some of those 3-point attempts don't fall, hey, we could be looking at this series going the other way, 1-0 from the Cleveland Cavaliers. And Darius Garland did not play tonight. That is another factor in that too as well. Somebody, a ball handler who can be able to get their own shot, get their own, create offense for somebody else. There's more spacing. That's 15 to 18, 20 points tonight gone missing right there in the lineup as well. So, hey, this going to be a fun series though. But I'm just saying, man, we can't keep sleeping on the Indiana Pacers because they didn't show us that you sleep on them, they can wake your head right up. You hear me? Like, you can't keep sleeping on the Pacers, man. They ready to go. They trained to go. They TTG. They a fairly young team too, coming off Eastern Conference playoff run, and they looking to make another Eastern Conference playoff run this year. And they looking to try to get to the whole thing, man. They got a team that's gonna be able to defend their ass off. They got a deep team that's 9 deep, at least 9 deep. That they got guys they can trust. Rick Carlisle, he got guys. They gonna be able to put their life on the line for him, you heard me? So, that's how I felt about game 1. This is going to be a good series, though. Donovan Mitchell did his thing. But, like I said, just to sum game 1 up, without trying to over speculate or over value what went on in game 1. Really, the Pacers won this game from the 3-point line. We can say, this happened. But I told you, same amount of rebounds. Cleveland took care of the ball. They got to the free throw line more times than they did. But the bottom line is that the Pacers won this game from the 3-point line. And that was the difference. Cleveland could not buy a basket from beyond the arc. And the Pacers couldn't miss from beyond the arc. And ultimately, that's how they ended up losing. Because, Pacers, they had 6 guys in double figures. Cleveland Cavaliers had 5 guys in double figures. So it wasn't just like the Cleveland Cavaliers came out lackadaisical. Or they didn't match the intensity. Or, they didn't play well or nothing like that. Just that the Pacers, they were just red hot from the 3-point line, and that's how they came up with this win. But game 2 gonna be very exciting. I don't know if Darius Garland still gonna be, out with a toe injury or what. But y'all let me know how y'all feel about how this series gonna go, because I think a lot of people coming in, they were sleeping on the Pacers. And obviously we still gotta respect what happened in the regular season with the Cleveland Cavaliers and the type of season that they had. You know, I still think this series is gonna go 7 games. You know, I feel like both teams is kind of like, I'm not gonna say they evenly match, but they evenly match in a way, because you know the way that the Pacers play style, they're gonna be able to adapt and be able to play different ways. They're gonna be able to play fast, get out in transition, and like I said, with them being so deep, you know, they got multiple guys on any given night who can be able to step up and have a big time game for them. So this is going to be an interesting, fun series, and I think a lot of people need to stop sleeping on it, because this is going to be a very exciting series as we keep going along with game after game after game. But y'all let me know who y'all got winning the game too. Y'all think Cleveland going to be able to bounce back, or y'all think the Pacers going to be able to steal another one on the Cleveland home court right here? And like I said, man, after round 1, the Cleveland Cavaliers, this is their time to shine. You know, this is their time to show everybody, like, the regular season not a fluke. We finally here to get over that hump. We finally here to make an Eastern Conference run, and that's not the end all be all. We trying to get to an NBA championship, NBA finals, and ultimately get over the hump and win the NBA finals. And this is their year to do it if they want to do it. You know, one of the best defensive teams, one of the best net rating teams in the NBA, one of the best offensive teams in the NBA. They had a historic season. This is their time to get the job done. So this is going to be a fun, interesting series. And I'm looking forward to game 2. Make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that comment section below, because we will be here after every playoff game like we was in the first round. And if you don't want to miss my reactions and my takes and my thoughts after every game, you know where to find me. Off the Bench Show. No spaces. And we're going to be right here, man. Youngest to do it. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. And I'm going to see y'all at the game 2.